Welcome back to the weekly news roundup in the fun edition that says, I told you so. And y'all were doubting. All right. Well, he's recorded live Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to catch the show live, participate in between, maybe even stop by and leave a super chat or something. Who knows? But you can check out the show live at that time. Today we have our standard little lineup. No AI news today. We only had a couple, and some of them will repeat. Some were kind of lame, so kind of booted the AI to the curb. But we have privacy, security, data leaks, business, and a very healthy dose of SillyVille. Like some of these just are pushing the envelope here, folks. But let's go ahead and dive right on in with our privacy news. First up in Told You So. If you remember when the founder of Telegram was arrested over in France, and I said, yeah, what's going to happen is he's going to capitulate really, really fast because that jail cells we're going to get really small, and all of a sudden we're going to see them really starting to cooperate with law enforcement. Yep. Telegram reports spike in sharing data with law enforcement. This is after Pavel Durov was arrested in August for refusing to provide user data in response to some CSAM investigation material. So basically, after he just refused to work with them, they're just like, fine, we're just going to refuse to let you walk freely on the planet. And so, they waited for him to land in their jurisdiction and took him into custody and then forced him to kind of stay in the country and report to the police and be like, hey, guess what? I still have not heard anything about what's going on with his case, but what we do know right now is he has handed over the recent reporting shows that the messaging app handed over phone numbers and IP addresses on 900 occasions during 2024, affecting 2,253 Telegram users. And mind you, it was like I think it was double digits back in August when he was arrested. So in the last quarter, they've handed over 900 instances. That's just United States. Spike saw a number of fulfilled requests compared to most of 2024, which saw Telegram respond to 14 requests on a total of 18 users up until the time that the jail cells closed in on him. So transparency figures shows that in India, authorities they had 14,641 occasions affecting 25,000 users for India. United Kingdom, it given up IP addresses and phone numbers 142 times, up to 293 users, up from single digits in the previous reporting period. So it's shocking what will happen when you get thrown in jail and the government's like, you can walk the streets, so you can stay in jail for a while. We have lots of bureaucratic tape to keep you locked up. Isn't that great? So I told you so anyway. Next one up, this was a fascinating one. This is dealing with the automated license plate readers that a lot of cities and police stations are putting into effect. Of course, a lot of tow trucks are putting these on their vehicles. So as tow trucks are patrolling through parking lots to see if there's any violations that they can tow away. And what they're doing is they're scraping all of these license plate data. Well, this one security researcher found out that the vast majority of these things are completely insecure and easily findable on the open network. Now, by default, they're openly available if you're on the same network. I'm not sure how we got on the same networks, whether these were all on just city networks and the city's Wi-Fi. I have no idea. Didn't go into the details on that. The article didn't. But he did say that several of these are available online. So he put together a full open source network of these security cameras and then was effectively logging all of the uses in the spreadsheets, allowing people to go in and basically do surveillance. And what he mentioned is that a lot of people are concerned about these types of cameras being used because, while the people that endorse them say, well, it doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment. The problem is it's governments creating massive databases of license plate numbers, and this allows them to search without warrants because they have all of this data. Of course, the creator called this deflock, mostly to bring awareness to it. Of course, I believe it was the Motorola cameras were the most popular ones that were leaked out here. They have responded by saying, yeah, we're going to work on securing these cameras out. Although he said a lot of these cameras, they just don't have any control or any support over anymore. They stopped manufacturing them. So those are just going to keep on going until the cameras burn out. Of course, he named it deflock DFlock based on the company called Flock, which is the one selling these systems to law enforcement. So across the United States, a lot of law enforcement in cities are running the Flock-based systems, which literally gives them a database in their own control of being able to monitor any citizens anywhere they go without a warrant. In my opinion, the Flock company and model, I think the company needs to close and all of the data needs to be instantly destroyed. And anybody who thought it was a good idea to put together such a thing should be brought up on constitutional charges if they are associated with the government. So that's what DFlock is up to. And onto, this is a huge article, and it made a lot of news. You've probably seen it already. I wanted to bring it up, of course, because I've been saying this for years, people. Years on this channel. In fact, back before I was in the van, I had that cute little unicorn. This is mostly for Alexa, not Siri, but the little unicorn called Alexa. Hey Alexa, order unicorn meat, confirm. These devices are always listening. I was saying these devices are always listening. I did a discussion talking about it the other day when you get the people that they don't want to type with their fingers, so they start a text message, they talk to their phone. And then of course, Louis Rossmann finds out that Google has a record of all of these phone recordings of his own voice going back 15 years. Stop talking to your electronic devices. But this is a class action lawsuit. Now, Apple settled this and they said we didn't do anything wrong, but let's go ahead and settle it so we don't move forward. I think a reason they probably settled it is to avoid the discovery phase, because that would really show a lot of the internal workings of what was going on. So what was really happening here is when you're using Siri, then Apple was collecting the voice samples, and it wasn't just processing the voice samples. Apple was constantly working to try and figure out, is the computer responding well? So they would take your voice clips over to third world nations where they hired sweatshops to listen to your actual analysis, your actual voice, and then see if the system responded in the appropriate way. This is the same kind of concept that Amazon was doing with these cashierless stores. Just go on in and all this. And some people were reporting it just took hours to get the receipt. Well, that's because there was no real automation. There was no real AI doing everything. Everything was just being monitored by a panel of Indians, and they would be watching everybody through monitors the whole way and deciding what you put in your basket or not. It was all a farce. Well, this isn't as bad. It wasn't a whole farce, but what they didn't really disclose early enough or loud enough is that all of the voice settlements, the voice statements you were making to it, all were being recorded and sent to real people who were actually listening to your voice samples and determining if your voice samples were true. Now, where this case comes in is a little bit different. A whistleblower came out and said that Apple was using these voice conversations for advertising. And a lot of people had discussed, in one case, it was discussing a surgical procedure with his physician, with his Apple phone in his pocket. And all of a sudden, almost instantly, he started receiving advertisements for medical things related to that condition. Same thing happened with, in this cases here, Pit Viper sunglasses and Air Jordans. Did Air Jordans exist in the time that Siri existed? Is there a Venn overlap of those shoes? That's interesting. Anyway, Air Jordans was like from my childhood. Are they still around? Please, somebody let me know. Is Michael Jordan still around? He's got to be a decrepit old man by now, isn't he? I don't know. Anyway, I don't follow sports. I know who he is. All right. Which he penetrated the culture. But in this, the lawsuit cited a Guardian article claiming Apple hired human reviewers. That's about the user reviewers. But the whistleblower is saying it was part of the advertising system, but we don't really have any real confirmation. The reality is a lot of different things in your phone could be listening and feeding data to ad buyers and ad sellers. That's a reality. That's been speculation for a long, long time. And the reality is I don't, is it Siri? Is it something else? I don't know. Something clearly is, because there is a lot of anecdotal evidence of people talking in the vicinity of their phones and then seeing ads for things that they talked about in the vicinity of their phones. And so Is it entirely false? Probably not. I think that Apple settled simply because $95 million, well, they make that in about the first 3 seconds of their operating day, any given day. And it will avoid them having to go through discovery to find out what really is going on under the hood. All right, so moving on to security news. So first up in security news, Nuclei has a flaw allowing signature bypass and code execution. So Nuclei is an open source vulnerability scanner, and the open source vulnerability scanner can be hijacked by the vulnerabilities it's trying to scan for. That's right. And I didn't see any fixes to this rollout at the time I was reading it all last night. So I don't know if this is still good to use, but effectively what's going on is there is the signals here. Basically, the antivirus or the malware detection is looking for various signals in the code. And in so doing, the issue happened to be with how they programmed in a line break. So down here you can see there is the YAML parser allowing attackers to exploit parsing conflicts with the /R characters to bypass verification. Parsing inconsistencies allows them to use this to add a second digest, allowing the parser to skip over their individual piece of malware. So there were 3 separate components to it. And with these 3 elements, it allowed malware to sneak through the automated scanner. So, just be aware, even if you're thinking, I got the best antivirus on the market. Antivirus will only work if it's properly working. Okay. And if it has proper definition. Somebody releases a new malware with a new signature. Yeah, a lot of people have to be infected before that's going to get picked up onto the antivirus software. So be aware of that. And anybody doing business with the Social Security Administration, be aware that there have been a lot of spam and phishing messages coming out. Of course, there was a lot of questions, is this legit or not? Because they're using it to deploy a rat. So there's a rat involved in the Social Security Administration. Well, that was blatantly obvious. But anyway, in all seriousness here, the cyber criminals are impersonating Social Security Administration and attempt to install remote access Trojan malware on people's devices. Now, this is the time of year that you will, I think it's winding down now, but it's about the time of the year the Social Security starts emailing a lot of people, benefits changes, plan enrollments, and all that kind of stuff. And so in the barrage of all of these Social Security Administration emails coming out, especially when people are expecting to get them, now the malicious actors here can send out information and possibly get caught up into the phishing scam. What they end up doing is with the phishing campaign, they will get rat installed, and rat effectively is a Trojan, allowing the malicious actor to take over the computer. All right, let's move on to data leaks next. First up in data leaks, sorry for the dad joke here, guys, but a dental group lied through its teeth about the data breach. That's right there in the headline. So this is a Westland Dental is a dental chain of dental offices. And in 2020, they had a ransomware attack, and they lied to their customers saying there was no ransomware. We accidentally formatted a hard drive and lost a bunch of data. That's right. Well, the truth will eventually come out. What does the Bible say? But your sin will find you out. And the sin found them out. And indeed, because this was one of the dual hackers, they encrypt your data and then steal a copy and extort you with A, if you pay up, you can decrypt your data, and B, if you pay up, we will not release the data. Well, it turns out they didn't pay up, data got released, and it was tracked back to indeed find that Westland Dental lied about it. They told everybody they were not infected when it was pretty clear they did. They have been fined $350,000 for that. The hack was done by the ransomware as a service system by Medusa Locker Ransomware Group. So that's exciting. So if you were involved in that, you've probably heard about it. The next one is another one of these fun instances by which we simply need to ban all data brokers. Like, ban data brokers. There is no legitimate reason we need data brokers in this country. This is Gravy. It's a data broker you probably never heard of, but they focus specifically on location data. They utilize all sorts of things like phone apps. So when your favorite commentator is talking about download and install Gas Buddy, it's a free app and it saves you all this money. Yeah, how are they paying your favorite huge content creator probably a few figures per video to announce this totally free application? It's because they're making a lot of bank on the back end. And what type of bank are they making on their back end? Well, the money that they're doing is things like the Gas app or the Gas Buddy app are going to turn on your location services so that you can see where it's at, so it can notify you that the cheapest gas within a 5-mile radius is coming right up, and hey, you should pull over and top off because you'll save like 2 cents a gallon. All it costs you is downloading an app and giving it access to more information that it possibly needs, including your location data. And then this location data information is being tied to your device ID and then sent right on back to the company, who then collects it and then puts it out. Now, Gravy also was grabbing data from leaked databases from other data breaches online, packaging everything up very nicely and then selling it to the United States government so that the government didn't have to seek a warrant. They just had to buy the data. Well, they were hacked and all of their information got leaked out online, which is nearly every U.S. citizen. Everyone that has location data turned on their phone. My Graphene OS stops that. So basically, this stuff leaked out. All of this public data is available. And so effectively now everybody can be cyber stalked. And because the apps have location data and they're doing all these things, yeah, they all know where you live. They all know what time you work. So, what about some individual person might want some of this stuff to say, oh, this particular person at this particular address always seems to go to work and no one seems to be at that particular address all day long. Sounds like a great place to swing by with a glass cutter in the afternoon, And so that's really the risk here. And this is why there is no reason we need to have data brokers in this world. No reason at all. They need to be instantly banned. And that way it's very simple. If anybody out there contains my data, there's the evidence. You get to be fined. In fact, what they should then do is pay $1 million to the person whose data they have and $1 million to the government. But that's going to put them out of business. Good. Awesome. The first 3 people that happens to, everyone else is going to stop. I promise. It's the same problem. How do you solve the crime problem in New York City? You lock up the first 3 criminals who steal a candy bar for 5 years, and then everyone stops stealing candy bars and shoes and tools and everything else because, I guess they take the laws seriously. Well, anyway. Well, if you want to save some money on your phone, Mint Mobile is our affiliate link for this section. You can jump on over. Right now we have a 50% off unlimited, $15 a month for unlimited premium plans. So this is, I've been using Mint Mobile for, I think, 4 or 5 years now. I think it's 5 or 6 years now, I think. And I absolutely love it. I end up buying 12 months at a time. So, and I just do the 5 gigabyte plan because I don't need that much data. So I do 5 gigabytes at a time. It costs me $180 per year for my phone. That's it. $180 per year. They run on T-Mobile towers. They do not limit or throttle your hotspot. So everything on the system works out great. And so if you are looking for that, lose my affiliate link there, tlm.li/mm. That will help support the channel. And Mint Mobile is an excellent place if you are looking to change your cell phone carrier and looking to save some money while you do it. With that, let's move on over to business news next. First up in business news, Disney makes its antitrust problem go away by buying the company that's suing them. We always talk about all of these crazy and evil companies. In fact, that was actually a plot line in a Leverage episode. There was the Leverage episode where the nutritional supplement killed the man. They're suing her in court, and so the hacker ends up spoofing this Indian company who's buying who's going to buy their way out of the trial, and the people being sued goes and buys that company legit. So it's kind of the same thing here. This has to do with streaming services and sports bundles, where Fubo is it Fubo or Fubo, whatever it is. They were concerned and calling antitrust because they wanted to have streaming services, but they couldn't build just the bundling package that they wanted from all these companies. All these companies forced them to have all of these extra things that they didn't want in their service, costing them a lot more money, effectively than they would have a service that's way more expensive of a price point than they wanted. So they come together and they sue Disney primarily over this because Disney has control over all these different sports channels and things, saying that they have a monopoly over this. And so how does Disney respond? But by buying the company. And then giving them a little bit of a bone. We're going to buy the company, make your director an employee of ours, and then give you exactly what you want. So yeah, there's Disney for you. The evil business is still doing evil business things. Let's buy up the entire Star Wars franchise and then refuse to pay out royalties like we're supposed to do. I'm sorry, somebody up at Disney needs to see. They need to see the inside of that French prison where the Telegram founder went. That'd be interesting. All right, next this is an interesting one. The U.S. is going to launch a cyber trust mark label to put on smart devices. The idea here is that there's all of these proliferation of smart devices that hit the market, and then the companies can't really support it, and then they go belly up, and then the whole several $100 device becomes completely defunct because it has to have some server connection. There was a company, I forget which product it was, Louis Rossman was talking about in a video yesterday, I believe, where he's talking about what this company is doing is every 6 months the product would get on the internet and ping an activation server. Well, the company said, we're not going to maintain that activation server anymore. So they're just going to take it down. And then once they took that server down, as soon as it failed to ping on the January 1st ping, all of those devices, which were several $100 devices, all bricked. It makes no sense. So what this is a voluntary project from the U.S. government that a company that is making an IoT device can put the Trust logo, and then they put a QR code on it. Now, how long before the hackers compromise those QR codes? That's a fun question. But the idea is you go to the store, you look at a product, and it has the logo indicating that this is a device that gets on the internet. And then you can scan the QR code to see the details. How long is the company committing to support the device? How long will the thing last? Can you use it on alternative networks? So ultimately, it's a good thing. However, it does have a lot of limitations. Number one, it's completely voluntary, but there are a lot of benefits in the companies for those that choose to use it. Now, it does not apply to any form of medical devices, as those are still covered by their own independent board. It's not on any of the phone devices, as those are monitored by the FCC. And obviously, as phone gets on the internet. Shocking, I know, totally shocking. But ultimately, this is an interesting plan. And I do like the concept in general. We need to, move it on a little bit. I'm kind of in favor of saying, hey, if something has to have an online account to use, I would love to see a Force logo on that box. It's kind of like you go to the grocery store and you buy food. It has to have an ingredient label that's accurate. I want to go into a store and see this product requires an online account, because that's one of the first things I try and research. I got to go into the store with my phone. I don't look this item up. Do I have to have an online account? Like, who would think I have to have an online account to take full advantage of my graphics card? It's nonsense. So this is actually a decent idea. I'm not sure it goes far enough, but at the same time, I don't really want a lot of government regulation either. So whatever that's worth. Well, a new report comes out, more or less a gaming analyst, predicts a lot more advertisements in our games. Those of us wanting to live an ad-free life like myself, and for the most part I do. That's awesome. But they're basically saying the PS5 and the Xbox are both going to have more ads. And there's a lot of different places. The first places, and we've seen them talk about these, you pause the game, you get ads. On the loading screens, you'll get ads. On the just the menu screens before you get into the game, there's plenty of room for ads there. Come on, we got to cram ads every corner. But what he predicts the most rise in 2025 going forward is we're going to start seeing embedded ads inside the game as some form of experience. So the gaming company would be like, we need some more revenue. Let's go to Monster Energy Drink, for example, and say, we're working on this totally wicked game, and we want to know, you want to pay us some of the ad dollars. This actually gives them some upfront money for game development and they can negotiate how long they're going to pay for it. So the idea is, hey, if it's just, it's this rate, if the product is just very clearly there, there's monster vending machines in the character world as you're walking around and you can see it. It's a little bit more money if I'm allowed to interact with the Monster Energy Drink machine and I can put in whatever currency that world uses and get a monster drink and get a power up for drinking a monster drink. This is the types of ads we might start seeing more embedded into video games as the years go on, as they start thinking of more things. So you can start expecting to see more ads popping up in all these various video games and other things like it. So that's kind of the current predictions. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But with that, guys, we're going to go on over to your favorite place and mine. We had a lot of fun, SillyVille, this week. First off, as you probably know, LA is on fire. LA has lost power. LA is run out of water. LA has basically become an apocalyptic hellscape. Even more so than it was before the fire started. But TikTok has an office there, and TikTok's office is in the evacuation zone area. So like, yeah, we can't open for a while. So you guys all have to work from home. Well, like half of their staff's home burnt down. Okay, nobody has electricity to work at home. The internet is not particularly reliable at home right now. So what they're telling them, just use your personal and sick hours if you can't work from home. Guys, let's ban TikTok, okay? Let's just ban TikTok in this country. Let's do it. So, yeah, the wildfires are currently destroying the greater Los Angeles area, burning 45 square miles, torching 1,300 structures, putting nearly 180,000 people under evacuation orders. Yet TikTok's LA-based employees are being told to either continue to work from home or use their personal and sick days if it's not possible. Should we napalm Shanghai and see how well they keep working? I don't know what to say about this, folks. I don't know what to say. Well, the gay femboy botnet targets 4-faith router vulnerabilities. We could just stop reading right there. I mean, we know, what is it, a year ago or so, we had the gay furry hack attack. Remember when all the gay furries took over the nuclear facility? It's like, hey, we want in real life cat women, now we have a new botnet based on the Mirai botnet called the Gay Femboy, and it is attacking a exploit flaw in For Faith industry routers. Now, I'm not sure if there's any religious connectivity with For Faith. It's just hilarious that a bunch of gay femboys are taking over For Faith. So, all right. They're basically launching DDoS attacks against the people attacking them. Rumors are, when it connects, it goes, oh. Okay. Not sure. But there are... These are the various devices attacked. There are a number of different ones. And you can see the Faith 2, the For Faith Industries routers attacked by gay femboys. I don't know. Just I don't know. Anyway, well, we got to get into here. Let's jump in our robotic cars and be gone. This guy jumps in his Waymo robo-taxi down there in Phoenix. He's trying to catch a flight, and the Waymo just starts driving in circles.
This is happening to me on a Monday. I'm in a Waymo car.
Connected to rider support. This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
This car is just going in circles.
Hi there, Mike. This is Gab. I'm calling from Waymo Support. I'm just calling because I received a notification that your car might be experiencing some routing issue. Please bear with me while I am...
Yeah, I got a flight to catch. Why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy. Look at what it's doing.
I'm trying to pull it over right now. Apologies.
Well, at least it gives me hope that if the robots do take over, they're kind of stupid. There's the Terminator coming. He's got the minigun. I'll be back. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he just starts running in circles. This is the Terminator, you know? It's kind of like what in Shaun of the Dead, right? They all just pretend to be zombies walking through the zombie crowd just to blend in, right? You know? Yeah, I mean, it's there you go, guys. There you go. So next time they're like, hey, man, we got to get this self-driving tech. This is awesome. We're robo-taxiing it all the way. We're just robo-taxiing ourselves in circles. I think the thing was trying to do a low-speed donut. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think about that. But anyway, on to our last one here. This is the In Case of Death iPad bundle. $1,500 iPad bundle. It will rickroll your family after you die. So the idea of this guy here, it's an iPad with a case and a smart ring. You wear the smart ring, and if the smart ring detects that you die, yes, they will be monitoring your heart rate and your blood oxygen level. If your heart rate and blood oxygen level drop off, and when you have not taken the ring off, the thing will sense that you have died. Once it senses you have died, it will do a series of things that you have programmed your iPad to do. So here are the options that they have. Number one is destroy the browser. It removes the browser and all of its history. Lord forbid they find out we're in Florida watching PH while the thing happens to go off, you know. So it's going to do that. The second thing it could do is just nuke the whole iPad. Erases all of the data from it. The last one, or the next one, is rickroll your loved ones. So it commands them to play the never-ending loop of the Rick Astley video, you know. And then the last one is to tweet your followers. So the default standard tweet is going offline permanently, bestie. Literally, don't forget to like and subscribe to my obituary. Hashtag last post. Hashtag no filter. Hashtag no heartbeat. Hashtag rip me. So for $1,500, you can pick one up that does all this kind of fun stuff for you. And that smart ring will just kind of tell you what's going on. So there you have it, guys. In the event of your death, your iPad will just start doing weird stuff. Isn't that exciting, folks? Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a locals page, switchedtolinux.locals.com. You can jump on over there, help support the channel. We do have our articles. Of course, our next short story should be dropping on Monday. We have an excellent short story coming up. The audio tracks are all laid. I need to finish editing those, and then we will get that story up shortly. So with that, switchedtolinux.locals.com.